Hello, so Kate Allgood here. I am the founder and owner of Quantum Performance, and in today's video we're going to look at performance systems. So performance systems are really systems that you have created to help you be able to perform consistently, be able to perform in high stakes, critical pressure moments, and we're going to have a look at those. First, let's look at why is this important. So a lot of the time people focus on goal setting, and goal setting is definitely important and is a part of the equation when we're looking at helping someone to be able to perform and to create the mental side of their performance. But the goal itself doesn't necessarily make the difference between whether or not you accomplish what you're looking to or not. What I mean by this is every person who goes into a competition has the goal of winning. Or if you look at it, most Olympic athletes, their goal is to win the gold medal, right? So that doesn't really differentiate between whether someone does or doesn't. It really comes down to the systems that they have in place and whether or not those systems have prepared them well enough to be able to put themselves in the best position to potentially now accomplish that goal. The goal is still important. It kind of creates direction. But once the goal is created, it kind of has to get put to the side, and basically 99 to 98% of your focus has to be on your systems. So how do we look at these systems? So first, performance systems really come down to what are you doing on a daily basis? What are your daily habits? These daily habits obviously add up to create the overall system that you have in place to reach your goal. The systems that you have right now are working perfectly for the level or the goals and level of performance that you currently have. So we really have to look at these systems and make sure they are lined up for what we are trying to optimize. And so that's one of the things to ask yourself is when you're looking at your behaviors, your habits that you have on a daily basis, not just within your performance endeavor or performance environment. You want to say first is, okay, what am I trying to optimize for? And then do my habits, do my systems line up to help me get to that result or put me in the best position to get to that result? Obviously, results and outcomes are not guaranteed. There's too many other variables that exist. You're really trying to put yourself in the best position to potentially be able to achieve that thing that you have set out for yourself. Okay, so one question is, what am I optimizing for? Depending on your level, right? If you're, let's say, a little bit lower level than maybe the Olympics or professional, one of the things you could ask yourself is, what would an Olympic athlete do in this situation? How would an Olympic athlete look to, or would do on their daily basis? What systems would they potentially have, right? So maybe just looking for somebody who's a little bit of another level or someone you look up to that you think really has great consistent performances, really reach those goals that they've set for themselves. But then you want to kind of go backward and say, okay, well, what would somebody who like that do in this situation? And that always helps us maybe when we have choices to make. And those choices obviously start to add up and create our habits, create our daily habits, and therefore create our systems, right? Do you get to sleep a little bit earlier so that you can have the rest that you need? Or do you stay up a little bit later, chatting with friends, scrolling through social media, or whatever it might be that would keep you up? Same with when you have choices of what food to eat. Same with whether you have choices of if you need to meditate or you scroll through social media or whatever that other choice might be, right? You can sometimes sit here and say, okay, I have these choices right now, and what would that person who maybe already has that level of performance that you're looking for, what would they do in this moment, do you think? And that might help you to kind of gear yourself to those behaviors and therefore eventually those habits that are going to be created for you. Okay. Another question you might want to ask yourself is, what performance identity do you want? So obviously your identity as a whole, who you are, your self-worth, how you are defined is not fully defined by your performance, but you can also look at it in terms of just a little bit as, if you were playing a role, what would that role look like, that performance identity look like? And then starting to create the habits and the systems that you think would need to go into, obviously creating a little bit of that performance identity, that role that you're going to step into in that moment. And that's another question that you can ask yourself. So there you go. There are some ideas about performance systems, some questions to ask yourself. As I said, you really want to look at your daily habits. Yes, there are things around your performance environment, your pre-performance routines during your competition that you might need to do. But it's those things that you do daily that add up. And too often we're focusing on something big to do that we miss those small steps. And those small steps add up. They add up over time, right? You are making a choice every day with every decision that you make to either help to make yourself 1% better or 1% worse. And so when we add up all those 1%, it obviously makes a really big impact. But we have to be okay with just saying, okay, this next step in front of us is important. It's the most important thing. This thing I'm about to do, this very small, maybe seemingly insignificant habit or thing that I'm going to do, it is a part of what's going to lead to you either performing up to your potential in a moment or falling short.